With this, we come back to the present from the good old days of Spark. Those of us who lived through the times have memories that are precious, but we wouldn't go back even if we could, except maybe for a nostalgic evening. Amateur radio could exist on Spark only for the few. The signals were too broad to let many be accommodated. But Spark was the thing that got us off to a flourishing start. We envisioned a radio utopia filled with accomplishments then seemingly impossible that are commonplace today, not really expecting that utopia would be reached so quickly. QRM, QRN, you've never really heard anything unless you heard it in the Spark days.
This is what an early valve transmitter that's not very well regulated in frequency would sound like.
The CHRS Radio News is the official publication of the CHRS. The views expressed herein are solely those of the editors and do not necessarily reflect the views or policies of the Society, its officers, or its members, except as might otherwise be noted by byline. Articles of timeliness and relevance for possible publication in the radio news are always welcomed either in written or audio form. The Society's address is CHRS, P.O. Box 1147, Mountain View, California, 94042, 1147. The publisher is not responsible for any buying and selling transactions incurred by listeners through the content of this publication. CHRS Radio News is subject to change in frequency of publication, content, duration, and type.
Anyway, that was a tape put out by the California Historical Radio Association, 1988, based on recordings made in the 1950s, and in the case of the recording of the Sayville transmitter off air, dated from 1915. Anyway, we've opened up the receiver on 439225. Are you there, for example, Peter, VK3ACZ, VK3AML?
Indeed I am, Chris, VK3AML, VK3ACZ. During that test transmission, I received a text message, and I won't say from who, but it said, "We can never complain about the noise FT8 makes ever again." And I agree.
Yes.
Yeah, we got the gist of it. It went on a little bit long, but yeah, in small doses, interesting. Thank you for broadcasting all the same.
No worries. That just followed the original play of that tape as issued in 1988. Located it on the Internet Archive, unfortunately very muffled in its original incarnation and full of hum, so I had to comb filter it before it went to air. But as it was material that, as far as I know, was not otherwise recorded at all, I thought it was worth putting it on. Anyway, it also allowed me time to help Prue get into bed, and you know, all the preparations for that usually occur between 10:30 and 11 p.m, so it was good to have the time off the radio to deal with that. Okay, yeah, there were articles in Wireless World about 1921, which I've read, about recording radio telegraph transmissions off the air. using an office wax cylinder dictating machine, which were characteristic of the period. The wax cylinder machines for office dictations were employed until the 1950s, when tape became more the go.
I was about to ask a question that you might have thought was very ignorant, and that was, when did tape take over?
Well, basically, as I say, 1950s. Before that, it was mostly the province of professional radio stations. Bing Crosby used it right on the end of the war when they captured a German magnetophone machine from occupied countries as the D-Day landing progressed. That was sent back to America, and Bing Crosby, strangely enough, was one of the first people to leap onto the technology for his radio program, because unlike disc, where everything was recorded live from start to finish with no chance of editing, with tape you could get a pair of scissors and some sticky tape and edit the tape in whatever form you wanted to eliminate mistakes, foul-ups, or rude words for that matter. So gradually the tape started off as a very expensive medium, and as time went on, the cost of the gear went down and down, as we've seen with the Baofeng handheld radios. I mean, back in the 1980s, a handheld for VHF would cost you a better part of $1,000. Now they're making them for $30.
Well, I remember a workmate trying to show off because he was one of the first to get a DVD player, and it cost him close to $2,000. Staggering to think that they were a year or two later were giving them away, or they were $50. But interesting, my ears pricked up at the mention of the Lusitania. I mean, it was only last night or the night before I cracked that perhaps bad taste joke about the Poms having to sink the Lusitania to bring the Yanks into the war. But yeah, that mention didn't escape me.
Yeah, most ships by that time were carrying wireless, particularly the larger ships like the Lusitania, and it was rare that they couldn't radio for help. I think the Lusitania went down double quick, so it was actually difficult to get help to it.
Sure did. There's something like 20 minutes, and it wasn't all that far off land either. It wasn't far off the Irish coast.
Yes, yes. Oh, and in terms of radio, I did some listening today, but not the usual stuff. I noticed let me see, I've taken some notes here. I noticed at, what time was it now? And where is that particular page? Oh, it's here. At 1 p.m. on 7205, I think it was. I'll just check on that. I made a recording of it. 7205. Proxy Kiwis 7205. I saw a DRM stream and was surprised. I didn't know that any radio station was still transmitting the stuff, particularly not within the bounds of our 40 metre band. And it turns out that Radio France, TDF, is transmitting digital Radio Mondiale 8.08 kilobytes per second, so the quality is not terrific. And I was receiving it via the Strathbogie repeater with the internal DRM decoder. If you're interested, Pete, I'll just play a little bit of that. It's in French. Hope this is okay.
Oui, oui, monsieur.
Okay, here we go. I hope this plays.
Bart Lee, I'm speaking to you on behalf of the California...
Oh, wait a minute. Wrong recording.
I'm going to say that French I could easily decode.
Yeah. Expand pre-World War One. Where is it? It's somewhere here. Lord Haw Haw, H.V. Kaltenborn. Where the bloody hell did it go? saw it here a minute. Here we are, proxy WebSDR DRM 7205.
Mais c'est pour l'instant le seul nom qui a filtré. Selon le Financial Times, ce fonds au capital américain et émirien se serait positionné.
The quality is okay, but it's not exceptional, and it's brick-walled at 3 kHz.
La famille industrielle Duval, famille qui n'a jamais officiellement communiqué sur sa volonté de revoir à la baisse sa participation. La potentielle entrée d'Orient CMC.
It sounds odd, like D-Star.
Et pour commencer, celle de la pertinence de voir un des plus gros groupes miniers de l'Hexagone s'ouvrir à des intérêts étrangers. L'État français, qui détient 27% des parts d'Eramet, a sans doute son avis sur le sujet. Orient CMC a vu...
I think I managed to catch its closed down announcement too. Just hang on a sec, I'll bring it up so I can tell which part of the sound file actually has the close down. That's interesting. Audio, there we go. Adobe Audition's coming up, and it won't do it. Oh, damn it. See if I can find it towards the end of this recording. Where did it go? I keep losing it. Here we are.
Socios, ça vient du fait que chaque sociétaire achète une part de son club. Au Brésil, on parle de torcida, qui veut dire groupe de supporters. Ça date des années 50 et le mot s'est bien répandu. Emprunté à l'espagnol, il y a aficionado, qui à l'origine...
And that was the end of the transmission. So 10 kilohertz bandwidth digitally transmitted. What I did notice was that the Chinese are also transmitting on a similar mode, but their audio is a hell of a lot better, and it goes to 6K. Have you done much listening on DRM via the WebSDRs, Pete?
Did not even know it was possible. I have to disagree in one small humorous way. Mm-hmm. And your comparison with D-Star is completely inappropriate. It sounds 100 times better than that.
Oh dear.
Only because I don't think anything's worse than Dumpstar. But now, you said, what, middle of the day, 7205? I wonder where it's coming from. It's obviously not France. If it was close to sunset, it'd be on the grey line, but I wonder if they've got something in one of our close northern neighbours.
It could be. The only thing I could think of where France could have a relay would be French Polynesia.
Ah, yes. Or New Caledonia, something like that.
Yeah. It was very strong into the Strathbogie WebSDR. It was 10 over 9 almost constantly with very little fade. Yeah, well, probably New Caledonia would be about the limit for 40 that time of day. Although, the truth be known, I've got no idea what the power, the extra power that they would run would likely do. Well, it was getting through very strongly, so it must have been doing at least several kilowatts, I should think. Just hang on a sec. There are some other downloads I got of the Chinese equivalent, and the audio is a lot better. Where is it now? VK Shires. I'm not sure where. Here we are. 7205 DRM, and it seems that the other one didn't download properly. It's odd. I'll just check that it's not this HL. Hang on. 我们一起来听。This is it.
在伟大的墨西哥城阿斯台克体育场，墨西哥队战胜了南非，也拉开了美加墨世界杯的大幕。这座体育场伟大而神奇，见证了吗？巴西会不会诞生世界杯历史上第一个外籍主教练带队夺冠的奇迹？上次
I think that is a French transmission with a Chinese accent from the Voice of China, or whatever they call themselves. but of the DRM transmitting countries, the Chinese are by far the most prominent, as they are with AM shortwave broadcasts. Back to you,
For sure, come nightfall, as you know, everything above 7200 is pretty well useless for our purposes. Oh, you can, if you're lucky, you can find a little gap higher up in the band, but normally it's pretty well stacked with, we are best country in world. You need to follow our leading.
Yeah, well, that was, what last one I played was 11695 kilohertz DRM, and that was later in the day, about 4 p.m. I think. But there are a number of stations still running DRM on HF. I think the Voice of Romania is another one that has a half-hour English broadcast a day. Unfortunately, it's on at about 6:30 in the morning, so I'm very rarely conscious. And an admission of my diurnal rhythms, that I'm very rarely conscious at early on in the morning, unless I have a bad case of insomnia. But yeah, Radio France was the first example, 10 kilohertz bandwidth worth of multiple subcarriers, and the second one 11.695 megahertz, which I recorded, I've just noted here, 6:30 p.m. And it was doing a slightly higher rate, 14.56 kilobytes per second with a 6 kilohertz audio. Voice of China. I don't know where Voice of China is, and I'm not I don't know either exactly where its relays might be. So if anybody does know, they might like to come up on 439-225 and tell us. Is there anybody else who'd like to join us on 439-225? We have the frequency open. Dead silence. I'm going to have to publicise what we're doing on Facebook somehow, Peter. One of the ham radio sites or whatever we've... Oh, there's somebody. If you get your microphone a bit further back from the speaker, it might not feed back so well, whoever that was. It sounded a bit like Fred, but I'm not sure.
No, it's not Fred.
It's not Fred. Hello, not Fred.
VK3EIP.
Hang on. He said, bashing the microphone. VK3, was it Echo India Delta?
VK3 Echo India Papa.
VK3EIP, g'day. Are you listening through 2 meters?
Yeah, I've got you on 147.475. I'm just trying to... I don't think I'm going to talk very long, because I think my 70 centimetre antenna is feeding into the 2 metre antenna.
Okay. Whereabouts are you?
We've actually spoken once before. I'm in Emerald, and I remember you and I chatted one time when I was in my shack. I'm in the bedroom at the moment.
Oh.
So,
are you on a handheld?
No, I'm talking through an FT736.
Yep. So you're doing a bit of power?
Yeah, maybe I'll turn it down. How are you receiving me?
Well, I can only give you a sig to noise through the headphones I'm listening to you on, and you sound like you're about strength 6 to 7, not very strong, but well and truly over the hinge point for NBFM, so that's the main thing.
Yeah.
Are you hearing him direct at all, Peter?
Not in the slightest.
Okay, well, it's probably good that we have the crossband relay in that case. Emerald, eh? What's the name there again? VK3EIP, VK3AML.
My name's George. We talked a couple of times way back in, I think it was 2020 or 2021.
Quite possible, Stuart. I was doing a lot of Saturday night transmissions with an accompanying output on YouTube live stream at that stage, and quite a few people used to tune into that. I haven't had the time to really prepare sufficient material to revive that, but in terms of getting things going, in terms of speeding the course of a conversation, I thought that running crossband was probably a good idea. And at the moment I've got a diplexer, a Kenwood diplexer, that separates my one antenna, which I'm using for both transmit and receive, between my FT7900, which I'm using for transmit on 2. And would you believe I've tried a number of receivers for 70 centimetres, and the most sensitive of them all, wait for it, is a Baofeng UV5R Mini worth about $30. Back to you.
Yeah, I heard you talking about that a couple of nights ago, I think. You were experimenting with your radio. What was I going to say about that? Yeah, I'm just my setup here. When I heard you come up earlier in the week, I went and got my... I've got an ICOM R7000 receiver. Yep. So I've got you plugged into that on 2 meters. Yep. And then I've got the FT736, which I've had sitting here just on a table in the bedroom, which I actually been using that for whisper on 23 centimeters.
Oh, the dark side.
Sorry?
That's the dark side.
Oh, the digital mode? Yeah. I do both. I can see why people do digital. But I've discovered the FT736 isn't stable enough for whisper.
Ah, right. Yeah, I remember speaking years ago to VK3AML, Rex Monker, down in Hobart, who's sort of the guru of digital modes down there, and he's a former head of the Australian Antarctic Division, Kingston, so he has quite a bit of dough. His wife has passed away, so he's single, very good income, no kids to worry about at this stage anyway. And his usual thing was he would buy a transceiver, try it on WSPR on 70 centimetres or something, and if it wasn't stable enough, he'd sell it and get another rig. So he was a great source of cheap rigs for a while.
I'm trying to figure out how to make the FT736 more stable, or I think if anything, because I've been doing some moon bounce, and I could. I have been thinking about homebrewing a transmitter specifically just for 1296 megahertz. And I mean, that'd be a project that'd take a few years if I get around to it. But in the meantime, I'm trying to make do with the FT736s, and I've been experimenting with small computers. I've got what's this thing called? It's a Clockwork. I think it's Clockwork Pi.
Yep.
I don't know if you've heard of those.
No, haven't particularly.
Yeah. But it's just a small handheld computer, and I can just plugging the computer in through the front panel. I can do the digital modes. That's why I've been using this. So, but I haven't done any digital stuff with the moon bounce. All I get is I can hear my carrier come back, with an echo.
Yeah.
But I think the digital modes will sort of crack the getting QSOs going. I've got a portable setup for the dish. I wrote an article back a couple of years ago on the dishes and loads. I don't know if you read the Amateur Radio magazine.
I get AR from time to time if there's a an article of interest to me in it. I got the latest one. I thought that was quite good. The one before that I didn't get. It is stocked by my local newsagent who's in Forest Hill Chase, not too far from here. I'm in East Burwood.
Yeah. When we talked a few years ago, I think you sat and looked at the map, and you said there was a line of sight between you and me.
Yeah.
In between a couple of hills. I haven't actually done the line of sight calculation, but yeah, we're lucky we can hear each other at all.
Yeah. Well, from here, there's a sort of a dip between One Tree Hill and to the north, and a dip where Upway, Tacoma and Belgrave are, straight through there like a gun sight. I'd be hitting you. And on the south side of the dip is the hill at Upway, on which 3EGG occupies the summit. So I'd be firing in between the two and getting through to you there. I remember being able to hear Eric, VK3 X-ray, who lives up your way as well, although he was more active on 160 metres. I think he may have passed away, I'm not sure. At the very least, he's not in good health. Back to you.
I think I've actually picked him up on 160 metres and emailed him, because I don't have a 160 metre antenna. I should set that up because I've got the space for it.
Yep.
But I don't know how long we'll be here. I mean, I'm getting on, you know.
Aren't we all?
Yeah. And unfortunately, things happen, and you know you can't look after a big block anymore.
Oh yeah.
I'm sort of getting to that point, so I haven't really bothered setting up a 160 metre or 80 metre dipole, which is really what I should do, given I've got the space.
Yeah. How old are you, by the way?
Retirement age this year.
Oh, is that all?
67.
You're a youngster. I'm 72.
I'll be a hepta, what do they call it? A heptasarian? What's the official term? Yeah. Unfortunately, with the setup I've got, I'm just looking at where I've got the antennas set up, and they're too close. So I might keep this short because it's I'm hearing myself back through whatever's going on from my 70 centimetre antenna going into the...
You're getting a bit of crud from yourself.
Yeah. I've got a lot of background noise. I did have a question for you, and then I'll leave you to this evening. Anyway, until I get this...
Lovely to speak to you anyway.
Yeah, but the question I have is I hear a whine coming from your signal. I just wonder what that is.
Well, I'm listening off air here and I hear nothing. Whether it's a birdie somewhere, possibly close to you, possibly in your own rig, possibly outside the rig from a some sort of oscillating device or a
No, when you No, when your signal's not there and I turn the radio on this frequency, there's nothing, it's quiet, just background, just the hiss, the normal hiss. To me it sounds like it's coming from your signal, and the pitch, do you want me to sing it?
Well, yeah. Okay. That's odd. What about you, Pete? Do you hear anything of that nature?
Negative, nothing at all.
Okay, I'm listening on an old-fashioned Bearcat desktop scanner while I'm speaking, just to make sure that there's no crud going out. So I actually listen with headphones off the off-air monitor, not off the mixer, and it sounds pure to me. So I'm not sure.
So I just mentioned that. So what I might have to do. If it's in my radio, I mean, I've got another R7000 sitting out in the shack. I might just swap them over tomorrow. How often are you transmitting?
Most nights we come on for the last few weeks we've been coming on at 11 o'clock, but we're both thinking of pushing back the start time to 10:30 because we are feeling on some days when we have to put in some physical effort, particularly myself at 72, I am feeling a bit rooted by midnight, and frequently if a good conversation's going I feel obliged to stay on and act as the relay station. Once or twice we've gone to 20 minutes to 1 a.m. Not only am I rooted by then, but my wife objects to me waking her up as I crawl into bed. So, yeah, 10:30 it looks like becoming. Is that okay by you, Peter?
Whatever.
Okay. Well, that'll be it. But, just as an explanation too, if you're ever thinking of getting a diplexer to split the one antenna from 70 centimetres and 2 metres, there are diplexers and diplexers. I've been really surprised. One diplexer I had, an OPEC, only gave 40 dB or thereabouts of isolation between 2 metres and 70 sems, and a station I was receiving on 70 sems had to be above about strength 7 for me to get them without crud from my own transmitter overcoming it. But I've just recently put in a Kenwood MA4000, Mike Alpha 4000, and that has isolation, would you believe, of in the order of 60 dB plus, and I can hear anything with that bloody thing in circuit, all through the one antenna. It really surprises me. And the insertion loss is quoted as, I think, 0.2 of a dB, so obviously they've got some pretty fancy LC circuitry in there, possibly 2 stages of filtering. And the whole thing is in a box that's not much larger than a Max box. So, yeah, it's well worth, if you're ever thinking of getting a diplexer to work crossband.
Yeah, I've had a bit of experience with that. I use 3-way, what would you call them? They're not, triplexes.
Oh, right.
Yeah, so, because the FT736 has 3 outputs,
yep,
or 4, depending on what modules you've got in it, but with the standard 3 bands that the 3 I've got seem to have, I use triplexes because in the shack, I mean, maybe I should go out there and listen to you from there one night, but I use a single vertical. I've got 2 of them, 2 single verticals, which take, all 3 bands, take 2 meters, 70 centimeters, and 23 centimeters.
Yep.
So they do all 3 bands, and I've got triplexes for those 3 bands. But then on the other hand, I'm not doing crossband on those. So crossband's different, as I'm just discovering now. So as soon as I should have tested this out earlier. Yeah, as soon as I transmit, I'm just hearing my own crud. So I've just got to separate the antennas.
Yeah. I'm told by Dave 3ASC, who used to do it that way, that as soon as you have them on separate antennas, things become a lot easier. In fact, Dave was using a cavity resonator tuned to the frequency of his 2 meter transmitter. I bought a cavity resonator from Ian VK3ST some couple of years ago, thinking that I would need that if I was running the 2 bands simultaneously, but it turns out the diplex is plenty good enough. At least Pete and I have found that. And just now, rather than pursuing the Saturday night, in inverted commas, production that I had during the COVID lockdown, where I had lots of time on my hands, I don't anymore. We can be social now. But I do want to pursue the crossbanding because I seem to be in a good spot. I'm on a high ridge that runs from the high spot the police academy at the south end to another high spot, the Mitcham Reservoir at the other end, and I'm sort of in the middle. And Peter, for example, is at Baronia, so he would only hear you round the corner, if at all, because of One Tree Hill being in the way. So this allows you and Peter to communicate direct, I presume.
Yeah, you're our repeater.
In a way, yeah. But initially I set this up because one of the regulars on the crossband, who was 3ARD, Matt Davey, down at Noble Park, Dandenong Way, couldn't often hear Peter direct, so I set up the crossband arrangement as you're finding, and no sooner had I done that, but Matt did something to his antennas so that he could hear Peter direct, and so could Peter. So it sort of cancelled the effectiveness of the whole exercise. But still, it's fun to be able to work in complete duplex operation like a telephone.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, I can interrupt you, but,
yeah.
So you don't sort of go on when I might have something to add that changes the direction of the conversation.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, that's why telephones work the way they do, and I think this is great. I used to listen as a youngster to VK3ASC and that group.
Yeah.
They were brilliant. When I was back home with my parents, this is going back to the 70s. I think they were around.
Yeah.
And I got one of my sisters. She had a radio, and I followed Dave's instructions about how to get the AM band up to be able to hear them, because they used to be down the bottom of the 160 metre band, if I remember right. But they were just within reach if you adjusted the tuning capacitors.
Yep.
And the coil. And so
the trouble is you would lose 3AR.
Yeah, that didn't matter for us. Yeah, but what I was going to say is that was, I think it was that before Hey Hey It's Saturday? Daryl Summers used to be on during the day before he went to a night program. Saturday
mornings, as I recall.
Yeah, but the thing is, when they went to Saturday night, I thought that's competition for Dave, for Dave and that group. And we used to be watching Hey It's Saturday instead of listening to the crossband.
Yes. Well, at least the crossbands in those days, all of us were a lot younger, and they could keep them going until into the wee hours. But we're all getting a bit older. But one of the things that I have as an obligation here is my wife has had spinal surgery, and we can't get out to travel as much as we used to, so rather than putting money into travelling to New Zealand or America or Chile or whatever, I find myself increasingly putting money into HF rigs so that I can talk around the world at the very least. And it's as I become less mobile, not through my own physical limitations but my wife's, the radio is playing a bigger part in my life, I guess. So I'm trying to fill the gap that Dave has left, and they're big shoes to fill, I must say.
Yeah, that was definitely a big commitment, and you were so regular.
Dave, my very good friend, though, was the guy who originated the whole idea, and that was Tony Sanderson, my predecessor with my call sign. A friend of mine from 1969 onwards, when I was 15, and he would have been 24 at that stage. And he set up crossbands between 160 metres and VHF so that they didn't need any diplexer of any kind with that. And in the old days, when you could tweak an analog receiver to pick up 160 metres, 160 was the obvious band to choose, but it's much harder to do it now with the digitally tuned receivers. And I think a lot more people have 2 metre receive capability than they did in those days. So 2 metres seems to me to be the obvious band to choose. The only thing I might change is this 147.475. I read an SWR on my Diamond X520, which is a 5.3 metres, I think, tall, big vertical, of 1.5 to 1, maybe 1.6. It's not really a worry, but the diplexer does get a bit warm. I probably would be better somewhere closer to mid-band, and so I've been thinking about changing frequency, but for the moment we'll stick with this. Back to you, Stuart.
It's George.
Sorry?
My name is George.
Oh,
and you
God.
got me, Nigel.
Hi, Nigel.
Hi there.
I don't know where I got Stuart from. I wrote that down. Oh, dear.
That's okay. Look, I better go because it is hard work for me talking with the noise coming through. I've got my headphones plugged in, so I'm not getting the feedback.
If you've got a 70 centimetre beam, try pointing it straight at me. I would be directly west of you, I think.
No, I don't. I don't have any beams for those bands. Anyway, I'll see what I can do about getting rid of the crud, and I'll swap over the receivers, and then we'll chat another night.
Yep. Okay, George. Well, thanks very much for chiming in. Would you like to say something to George, Peter?
Just hello from me. No simplex contact at all, George. Thank you for being with us. And I've got a couple of bits of information for you to, Chris, after you finish with the... Oh, no, quick question for George. What sort of antenna are you doing your EME with on 23 centimetres?
Oh, yes.
I've got a 3 metre old TVRO dish, a C-band dish, and I put it on a trailer, and so that you can trail it on the roads, I've had to cut the. I learned how to weld so that I could do this, but I cut the support ring that holds the back of the dish, so that you can separate it in half. If you've got an old, the amateur radio magazines, there's a picture of it in one of the magazines. I think going back to 2023, you can see it there.
Roger. Yeah, I've been appreciating your contributions to the mag. All right, 7-3, George. Again, thanks for joining us, and hope you can do so on a regular basis. Back to you, Chris.
Yeah, no worries, George. And I had your audio level up a bit, so you were compressing, and I was pumping the noise up between words, so making you sound like you were doing less signal to me than you actually were. You're modulating that very well. Peter and you, I think, have about a 3 dB difference in modulation level. So interesting. Anyway, we'll catch you another night, and I'm sure that somehow you'll fix the, if it is your problem, the buzz. Frequently I find that if what sort of a signal strength are you getting from me on 2 metres, George?
Just looking at the S meter now, and it says 5.
S5, okay. Well, I'm doing 50 watts, and with 0.2 of a dB, probably 40 watts or something. That's the insertion loss of the diplexer, plus the loss of the feed line. So, should be getting through reasonably well. I don't think we'd be directly line of sight, but we'd be pretty close to it with the arrangement of hills there.
Yeah, right. And I think I'm not doing more than about 5 watts at the moment.
Well, you're coming through the Baofeng UV5R Mini very nicely.
Okay. All right. Well, I'll say good night to you. And is it Peter? Is it?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, good night. Great to hear you and getting this crossband tradition going again. I think that's great. I'd love to join in occasionally.
Sure. Well, very, very welcome. I've been trying to think of where we can put the announcement of us doing this sort of stuff so that a few others can join in. Facebook's a bit too general and a bit too wide geographically. So, you say that you're transmitting around the Melbourne area. Well, there are the proportion of people in Melbourne reading that would be fairly small anyway. So maybe an advert in AR, I don't know. Interesting question. Any suggestions, Pete? I just got a click.
Don't put it in AR.
Not in AR?
No.
Oh.
Why not?
Well, I don't think they like the crossbands. The good old crossbands.
Oh, that's Nigel. Hello.
Yeah, hi there.
3XKU. Yeah, g'day, Nige.
All right, I'm gone. Bye.
Okay, all the best, George. We'll catch you another time. How are you, Nige?
Yeah, not too bad.
And you're still on that rig where you can transmit?
Yeah, I still am, yeah. Yeah, it's good. It works.
Yeah. And you can actually hear me while you're talking?
Yes, I can. I'm transmitting right at the moment, and I can hear you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
And that's without separated antennas or...
That's right, yeah.
Okay.
So if I turn the your volume up, I get feedback.
Complete with feedback.
Complete with feedback. Yes, I'll turn that down.
I think that's what Fred was getting, Peter.
Yeah, a couple of bits of information for you.
Yep.
Quiet Achiever, who doesn't wish to join tonight, must be too busy. Frequency 11695, China Radio International.
Yep.
Transmitter side Kashgar, and it's got a Chinese name starting with Xinjiang.
Oh my God!
I looked up where it was. It's due north of India, right on the western end of China.
Yeah.
Language French, and target is Central Africa. Start at 1800. It finishes at 2000 each day. That would be Zulu time, of course.
I intercepted an African transmission.
Well, aimed at Central Africa.
God.
Anyway, and there's a couple of other... there's digital and something else. Other bit of news for you. Hold the front page. Mr. Zulu Hotel, the master blaster of DX, has done it again.
Oh, yeah.
Today he received a certificate from the Worldwide WPX contest, which was held at near the end of March. And he's, I'm looking at it here, he was number 3 in Australia with a total of 561,180 points.
Yep.
Now I need to go back to where he, back to his message that says where he was through the whole...
Knowing his outfit, it'd be worked all planets at this point.
Yep. There were 7,564 single-op entries worldwide. That puts him in the top 5%. Surprise, surprise. He was 3rd in VK, 19th in Oceania, and 330th worldwide.
Is this dark side, though?
That 330th means out of 7,564.
Oh, yep.
So that's not 3 bad.
Okay, and is that dark side contact?
No. This is SSB. I was taking part as well.
Okay.
But I hunt for countries. Competing for points is not the issue for me. Like for example, if I hear, say, Kazakhstan, next time I hear Kazakhstan, I scroll past it looking for another one. That sort of thing. So, in other words, I'm not really a contester in the true form. As I said, I'm hunting scalps.
I wonder if Kazakhstan is actually as bad as Borat makes out.
Yeah.
With his sister, third best prostitute in all Kazakhstan.
Oh, good. Anyhow, but having said that, there was one, I can't remember which DX contest it was now, but one weekend, Master Blaster worked more entities than I've worked in 6 years.
No.
Which is a bit embarrassing.
Is he set up on a big block?
I guess you'd call it that. Sort of on a bit of a sloping hill, favours the south. But I think the big beam, name of it's having a senior's moment. Amp and a good beam helps a little bit, but no doubt, good operator, just a really good operator.
Yes. Well, he's had the experience to do it, and the engineering background as well, which is great. Yes.
And I forgot to say good evening to Nige.
Oh, yes. And thanks for coming on, Nige. This is so we've had 3 EIP, 3 ACZ, we have 3 ARD listening, we have other listeners, and we have XKU. Any comment, Nige?
Not really. I was going to say, how hot is your transmitter getting? Because that'd probably be the idea to move down in frequency there, down the band.
Okay. And you're getting me okay, I guess?
Yeah, I'm getting you fine, full scale.
Okay, yeah, it's only Emerald where I'm having the trouble.
Well, I couldn't get George at all. What was he transmitting on, 439225?
That's the one.
No, I couldn't get him at all.
Well, there'd be a mass of hills called the Dandenong Ranges.
Yeah, well, then he was getting me, but he was only transmitting 5 watts, though.
Well, I gathered that, and I don't think he was able to transmit more because his crud from 70 sems was getting into 2 metres. I was only coming in there, according to him, of strength 5 or 6. So,
well, I'm really impressed with this radio. How it sort of, won't,
being able to work full duplex on the one.
Being able to work full duplex, yeah.
Yeah. That's something I've not struck before.
Yeah.
That's good news that you can do that. How much does a rig like that cost, do you know?
Well, I got it from the toy shop. I think it was about 670, I think.
That's not bad.
Or was it 700 or something? Something like that anyway.
Yeah. Well, when I think of the money that I've put into mixers and diplexers and
the other,
2 radios, it's probably all totals that anyway.
And the other thing, of course, is C4FM, so that's why it costs. What's wrong with C4FM?
Pardon me. It just makes me have a twitch.
C4FM is of the devil, Chris.
Oh, I see.
Matter of fact, when our session concluded last night, I got on REC repeater and used C4FM.
Oh.
Contacted a fellow in the old Dart Golf 6 Whiskey Quebec Hotel, and he was out walking his dog, who his QRZ page showed as a little fox terrier, beautiful looking thing too, and he was using a Yaesu FT70, which I've also got, but I've never used on the, well, you'd almost call it the dark side, wouldn't you, digital C4FM. Audio wasn't superb, but then he was also out of breath. I had a nice chat for about 15 minutes with him, tied up REC repeater. Even at 1 o'clock in the morning, I'm still worried about other people either going to drop carriers or get upset that I'm using the repeater, so I try and keep it brief. But anyway, that's the dark side, C4FM, Chris.
Are there very many rigs that can work duplex in themselves, Peter, or is it still...
Yes, there are. Well, I mentioned a couple last night of the iCrap variety, the 2730 that I've got for satellite. And as I say, the fan is so noisy, I wouldn't use it as a shack radio, even though that's its intended purpose.
I have
5100 is the next one above, which also does it. That's as qualified as I am with iCrap.
Well, I noticed
with the
that
Yaesu, everything, the 200, which I think's just gone out of production, it had a single receiver, but it had a dual display for some stupid reason. The 300, the 310 that I'm using, which is a very new thing, the 150, 400 out of production, 500 out of production, 510 currently in production, all those Yaesu radios, the FTMs, all do dual receive.
Interesting.
Etc.
Okay.
So, yeah, pretty good.
This is a stupid question, but as the Baofeng UV5R Mini has dual frequency display, does that mean it can receive on one frequency while transmitting on another?
I don't believe it does. I think one wipes the other out, but I tell you the truth, I haven't quite checked. I think no. More satellite people would be using it if they did.
Yeah.
Some hardy satellite people do use, say, an ICOM 52 or whatever, but as it's not full duplex, I don't know how they do it, because I've always needed to hear my signal on the downlink to know that I've got the Doppler right, because you can only move in 5 kilohertz steps, and so eventually when it's out of spec, it does sound pretty terrible. But then you get idiots like a 2-letter call in VK4 who couldn't find himself on the downlink, so he counted to 50 on the uplink.
Was that the same guy
for
that...
50 seconds, nobody could use the repeater. Bonehead.
A hog. Oink.
So obviously these FTM radios are quite good for... and Nigel, I use or have used my 300 from time to time as to work the space station and SO50 and the 124 and 125, etc. The CubeSats lends itself very well for that purpose. But the reason I opt for the 2730 is that it'll give me 15 watts on its lower setting, even though the duplexes in the antennas only rated for 10 watts, but yeah, I'd rather push 15 up there than 5, even though I know it makes a bee's dick a difference.
Well, 3 to 1, you're starting to see a difference, but it's really 10 to 1 where the difference will be noticed. As Nigel, ex-Radio Australia, often said to me. He invited me to have a look around Radio Australia about 10 years ago, and I'm damned sorry that I didn't take him up on that. I never saw the interior of the building while it was operating.
Oh, I tell you what would have also been good is Shepparton Amateur Radio Club got to use the facility just a couple of years after it closed.
Yeah.
And apparently they did fantastic on 160 metres. Would have loved to have. I'd have killed to be there for that.
Yeah, it's a pity they can't continue to do that, but I believe that a lot of the surrounding country has now been subdivided and is about to be either about to be sold or has been sold. I think the Shepparton Radio Club put in...
Like, they can still go in there and fire it all up, can't they?
Sorry, say that again, Nige?
We'll go in there and fire the thing up, but, can't they? Can't people go in there and just transmit?
I think the building, the original building is still there, and I think it's kind of heritage. And I think the last thing I heard was that the Shepparton Radio Club had put in for at least the usage of part of it for their activities, but whether anything's come of that, I just don't know.
Yeah, and the transmitter gear was sold off various, but HCJB up there at Kununurra got the majority of their transmitter gear, as I understand.
Okay, so we'll hear it come back as Holy Roller. Hallelujah, brothers and sisters.
Only in foreign languages. I don't think they broadcast any English from up there. Not like the good old days when you and I used to listen as kids, when it was coming on 9.745 and 11.745 to the South Pacific. Gee, it used to absolutely romp in.
Yeah.
Always the strongest station I would ever receive.
Well, on their QSL card, and I've got one of them here that I wrote away for about 57 years ago. Seems like yesterday. They advertised themselves as having the highest altitude shortwave transmitter in the world. It was up something like 13,000 feet in the Andes.
Part of the reason why I've forgotten his name now, the guy invented the cubical quad, because they were having trouble with burning the ends off dipoles and the like. But I also recall they were told that they were mad attempting to put their transmitter up so high it wouldn't work. It worked. And
cooling would be no problem.
Yeah, I credit, I tell you what, for all the, you might want to throw poke a stick at HCJB, but I credit them with keeping me or giving me a lifelong avoidance of drugs, because I heard a message there one time that, as a kid, that has stuck with me for the rest of my life. And it was, they were broadcasting the expressions of former drug users. Because by the time I got into nursing and saw the real damage that it was doing, it was a fait accompli. But I'm very grateful to JB for that.
At the time that they were transmitting, this is in the 60s, at the time HCJB was transmitting up there, my memory is that a lot of members of the UN's, what they called in those days the Peace Corps, were involved with that station, and it was all humanitarian relief rather than Bible bashing, talking about human rights issues, and that may have angered a few of the South American governments, particularly at that time with Pinochet and all of that. But some of the transmissions were quite interesting. Most of them, most of the announcers had an American accent, I noticed. So obviously they were not Peruvian natives, they were people coming down from USA. Oh, I would presume that it was people coming down from USA.
You'd be pretty close to spot on.
Yeah. Well, it's 11:58 p.m. I probably should limit this at the moment, because to tell the truth, the memory card on which I'm logging this is starting to get close to full. So I'd better start pulling the plug. But thank you to all the people that came on. George VK3EIP, sorry to call you Stuart, I don't know where I dug that up from. Nige 3XKU, thank you. Peter, of course, as always, and 3ZH and 3ARD, who I know were probably both listening. All the best to you. And 3ZH, if you're listening, I must find out from you if anybody has tested the UV5R Mini for spectral purity, spurs, and a disintegrating PA with too long on push down on the button, because they work so well as receivers. I'm so stunned by the sensitivity. Well, like, for example, George and Emerald, that I'm just curious to know what the limits of that particular handheld are. They must have some limit for the low price of the device, or maybe I've got it wrong. Anyway, Peter, any final comments?
Well, I didn't do any HF at all today, Chris. Though I said I would. It's still not firing on all cylinders, but what can you do? I struggle along. I will be picking up tomorrow. I'm dropping in to see somebody who's got a QSL card from, or two QSL cards, one from, what's the name of that place just south of China?
Laos,
just off
Vietnam, Cambodia.
No, it's not coming to
Myanmar.
Another seniors moment.
Bhutan.
And my set of 500 QSL cards. So I'm back in business. I'll be able to send them again. I've been running short stock, so that'll be nice. Hope to get on air in the afternoon. It's
Do you actually have you actually made up card QSL?
Yep. My station manageress was only out for a few seconds. I didn't realise it was raining, but she came back wet as, and I can now hear it. It's raining rather strong now. So
next time we speak face to face, I'll find out from next time we speak face to face. I'll find out from you how you get your QSL cards done.
Okay, it's a fellow in Poland prints them.
Poland. Good heavens!
And does so for a good reasonable price. You supply the design and all that.
I think from memory that Officeworks do it, but the cost is fairly high.
Office Jerks?
Yes.
Yeah. I just love saying Office Jerks. Yep. All right, Chris. Well, thank you very much for the crossband as always. Good to have heard George on the air again. I've heard him before, so since we weren't making any simplex connection, I'm not sure how I did. Maybe it
you
was
probably heard him on HF, where that bounced over the hill or something.
Yeah. Anyway. So good night to you, Chris. Good night to Nige. Good night, Quiet Achiever. Good night, Greg QSL. And hope to do it all again with maybe with a HF report from me.
Yeah.
This has been VK3ACZ. Over to you, Nigel.
Yeah, okay, yeah, fine then. Anyway, good night, Peter. Good night, Chris. Anyway, I'll see you later.
Okay, no worries. And I forgot to say good night to QSL, Greg. All the best to you, and we'll do it again in 23 hours. I'll come on at 10:30 with something. I'll find something to play. There'll be something I can throw in as a conversation starter, I'm sure. There's a huge amount of podcast material available in the Internet Archive, a lot of it relating to science, technology and radio, like that spark transmitter thing.
Your mate Foghorn Leghorn likes to do podcasts of that.
Oh, you mean before the coffin cheaters?
Yeah.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah, and there's tons of things on YouTube, on amateur radio and stuff like that, tons and tons of things.
Yeah, trouble with YouTube is a lot of it's visual, and without the visuals sometimes it doesn't mean much, whereas the Internet Archive, there are actual audio recordings there.
This is, documentaries and stuff, so it could probably work. Yeah, documentary style things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll see what I can dig up anyway. Okay, fellas, this is VK3AML. I'll now drop off 2 meters. I'll listen briefly on 2 meters before closing. So anybody who'd like to come up on 2, go ahead now. VK3AML. Dropping off, preparatory to pulling the big switch. And there's nobody on 2.